read the story on WeINSPIRE's
Mm-hmm.
website, and it sounds like there was a source of motivation and a source of inspiration that led you to start the Village pop-up shop. So first, I would say like the motivation sounds like to have been your own personal experience, and you quote in the story that my motivation was because I experienced my own form of homelessness, right? I've never stepped outside,
Yeah.
but I slept in the car as well as in the shelter while you were pregnant. So talk to us a little bit about that point in that chapter.
Okay, yeah. So first, I'm Shamelle Jackson. I'm a single mother of four. I'm from Washington, D.C. And what put me into this place was being in a domestic violence relationship. Um, and with that being said, when you're in a domestic violence relationship, you don't want to bring the drama to your family. So that is what landed me in the shelter, because people may say, well, your family looks like they're doing good, and they are, but I don't want to bring drama to my family. I don't want to bring drama to my mother's door. And that was what was presented to me at that time when I was in a domestic violence relationship. So I did sleep in the car. I was with my third child when I slept in a shelter in Southeast DC. But you know what? It was a blessing to me, because every day that I was there, I got to meet new people. And then when I was there, I just was feeling like, if I can turn my life around, or when I turn my life around, I'm going to make sure, because it was things. I mean, it was a nice place. We had it was like our own apartment. I didn't experience the bunk beds. I didn't experience the bunk beds and the things that other people experience because sometimes when I tell people, you may need to go on a shelter, they think it's the worst thing ever. No, my shelter was like my own apartment. It was safe. We got gift cards, we got cash, we got groceries. It was a good thing. My kids had free daycare. It was a blessing. So sometimes I do tell people, just, if you cannot do anything else, you may want to try to experience something different. So it was a beautiful experience for me. This is just my story. I had a job. They got me on my feet. They helped me get things that I needed for my children, for my kids, as far as daycare, after school activities, that I feel like, and that's why I'm going to run for mayor soon, because I feel like anytime anyone is in a shelter, you want things like that. You want your kids to have after school activities. If they wear uniforms, you want to be able to get uniforms from your community, so that was the thing for me. And I don't regret it. I'm not shy about it, and I'm honest about the things that I've gone through when I lived in the shelter.
And you shouldn't be, because out of that you've created such a powerful organization that you can then take that experience and help others, and so that same message into others that even though your situation may not be what you would want it to be or what you have hoped it to be, there's still light on the other side, and there's still a village, because it sounds like with that experience and at the shelter you had a village there as well.
Yes, and I will say I remember times that I was at a gas station on those low days, and I would put like $2 or $3 in my gas tank, and I would be wishing the person behind me. Like, that's my message to people sometimes too. If you're in a gas station and you see someone in front of you in line and they're putting $2 and $3 and $4 in their gas tank, and they don't have a little gas can, where are they going with that? So sometimes I remember I had a little boy in front of me, and the mom was in the car, and he had like all these quarters and was putting like $3.80. I'd added 5 to it. You never know where your blessings are going to come from.
Yeah.
Where are we going with $3 in our gas tank? And I just used to wish, like, I'm putting $3, like, you behind me, you got a whole Tahoe, you got a Mercedes, and like, you see me putting $3 and $5 in my tank. It's nothing. Even if you're in a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through or McDonald's, you're buying food, pay for the person behind you.
Yeah,
it's nothing. Those little things will build you up so much. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It almost it speaks to the saying that you said, a smile can go 1,000 miles, like a hug can change someone's day, and just paying it forward with just $5 that
or
may
compliment.
Or compliment, right? Yeah.
Yes, because I love old people. I see old people all the time with a cane. Give them a compliment. Because I know on my bad days, I'll be like, damn, I wish somebody was telling me I look cute today. Because I know I'll be looking messed up with these 4 kids.
And I love your energy, and it's truly infectious. And I think you are definitely what the world needs. and what you bring to the table, and how just your energy, I can feel it here. And I'm sure people who are with us today right now can feel it as well. And it just brings a smile to my face. So,
Yes.
so with that, you also said that you were in Minnesota during the George Floyd protests, and the aftermath of that and the experience that you saw in that community was a source of inspiration
Oh
for
my
the
God.
Village Pop-Up Shop. Tell us a little bit about that.
I used to live in Minnesota. My mother back in the day, and I thank God for my mother, she was a drug addict. She used to do hair for, like, I don't know if you guys remember Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, the whole Prince vibe back in the day. She used to do hair for them, and she got caught in some situations. So that's how we ended up in Minneapolis. If you know about Prince and everything, that was the whole Minnesota vibe back then. So I built relationships with friends and, colleagues and stuff in Minnesota. So I went back and forth between Minnesota and Maryland. And I had a friend that was leaving Minnesota and she was driving to Atlanta. And I'm like, you cannot drive to Atlanta from Minnesota by yourself. So I flew to Minnesota, and it just happened to be at that time the George Floyd protest. And as we were walking around, I'd never seen so many people dedicated. They were just giving each other food, hygiene items, and I lived in Minnesota before.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota is mainly a Caucasian white state, but at this point, and it was also after the other guy who was killed by the police, Calando Castile. And I feel so bad if I'm messing his name up because I know better than this. Philando Castile. But as I walked up the Minnesotas and blocks, you saw gardens of fruit and just trays everywhere. So I said, you know what, Charlotte, we have so many communities in Charlotte. We got West Charlotte, East, Noda, different areas, but I don't see anything where people are just genuinely giving to the community for free. So I said, when I get back to Charlotte, I'm going to make this work. And nobody was really filling the gardens or the pantries. So I said, well, maybe I'll do a fridge. And I put it on Facebook. I need a fridge. That same day, I got a fridge. The next day, somebody donated to it. The next day, somebody painted it. It just escalated on its own. And then ever since then, it's been rolling. Ever since then, it's been rolling.
And so when you started, like the first time, did you have aspirations already of expanding it beyond Charlotte into other communities as well? Or like, what was your thought? Like, hey, let me just get started and get
honestly,
it going.
My thing wasn't even really feeding the community. My thing was the community coming together to feed people.
Awesome.
It wasn't just feeding people. My thing was I wanted Black and white to meet at the fridge and be like, and then they can be cool and, and do their own thing. Because at this time, it was Black Lives Matter when I did it. So it wasn't really just feeding people. It was people meeting together to come to understand, no matter what color we are, we want to do this for the world. You know what I'm saying? So even at the fridges, it's not just food. We have hygiene items, books, scarves, blankets, socks. It's more than just food. It's for you to come at the fridge and be like, oh, bro, yeah, we're here too. It's above me. That's my thing. It's above me.
And it brings together like so many things. Like you said, someone came out and donated the fridge, someone painted the fridge. So it's like it's bringing the community and people just bringing their talent and themselves to the table to really help.
And Derek, not even that. Someone donated 4 fridges.
4, wow.
Someone paid at Lowe's, and I picked up 4 mini fridges, brand new. Brand new. Someone paid for 4 brand new fridges for me to pick up. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, so as the pop-up shops, the village pop-up shops are happening, but even before that, you were going and you were providing different women in the shelters with purses.
Yes, being that I lived in a shelter, and they used to come in with like little Ziploc bags, and I used to be like, I need a purse. You know what I'm saying? Like as a woman, and the thing about women. Some women don't want to carry purses. Some women like big purses. Some women like little purses. Some women like backpacks. So that was my thing, purses for a purpose. And so I started collecting handbags. And I also found myself to be a woman as I had so many purses, but I would never use them. So then we would start putting hygiene items, and collect them, because every woman that's on this chat right now, I'm sure you got at least purses that you don't even wear. We wear the same one, or we put them in our pocket. We just carry our wallets or carry a book bag. So that was the thing. One time I collected almost 800 purses, and we just went around. But then I started feeling like, what about the men?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when we were doing, bags for boys, not to call men boys or whatever, but men also like to carry man bags or book bags. But yes, it was definitely a different type of feeling when we started to realize that women are in need of purses. If you go to a job interview, if you go to church, or if you just every day want to just feel like a lady.
Yeah.
And inside of that purse is going to have those hygiene items that you need.
Yeah.
So yeah, how did you find? Wait a minute, how back deep did y'all go?
Listen. You got to do your due diligence when you're going to have you on the fireside chat. But yeah, definitely, because I think it's important for people to hear all the things that you do, because sometimes we can just see the surface, but there's so many elements and layers that you're involved in that people can support in different ways. And so I definitely want to make sure that we call that out, and so that people understand like all the work that you're doing, which is powerful and important. And that's the power of WeINSPIRE, right? The ability to help people see themselves and what's possible in the stories of others, right? And so with that said, who would you say, you mentioned your mom, but who would you say inspired you along the way of your journey? Even now, like as a woman who has an organization and you're in business and you're creating this, like what are some of the inspirations that you see even today that keeps you inspired to do what you're doing and continue to move forward?
I would say, other than my kids, I have 3 sons. They're 19, 13, and 11, and I have a daughter who's 8. So I have 3 boys and a girl. But I would say my dad, even though he's no longer living, before my dad passed away, he was a boxer in Landover, Maryland. If anybody knows about Prince George's County in Maryland, my dad was a boxer, and he was dating my mom, and she used to go see him. I was conceived in prison. He did 28 years for murder. But he became a better man in prison. He was studying pre-law. He was a barber. He was a basketball coach. And unfortunately, when he got out, he overdosed 5 years after he got out of prison. But talking to him every day, I just, it was a balance. One side of him, I did 28 years in jail. So I'm going to get out and I'm going to do this. But then after doing 28 years in jail, you never drank, you never smoked, you never did anything. So now you want to kind of do the things you never did. So I feel like for me, I just want to continue on, because I know he wanted to do things for people. My dad did 28 years in jail for murdering one person, and he still murdered the person. Okay. But you have people doing 5 years or 30 years for less than a crime, so my goal is also to my goal is to be a mayor at the end of the day. I want to be a mayor at the end of the day. And I also want to protect children who have parents who are in prison. My dad was in prison for 28 years. If the government would have helped my mom those 28 years, who knows where I would be at this time. So my goal, being that my kid's father's in jail for 34 years, my goal is to just try to create a balance to bring certain, gifts that could have been to me. You're definitely getting money off of these people while they're in prison. I can't. Kim Kardashian may not be able to help me with my kid's father, but at least I do want to try to create, or even just for other. It's not even just about me. I feel like if you are someone who is a single parent, whether you're male or female, and that person is in prison for over 5 years, school uniform should be free, YMCA membership should be free, after school activities should be free, certain scholarships should be free. There should be something for these children who are missing a certain parent in the household.
I
so
think
that's my goal.
And that's powerful, because I think your message, and which is I think everyone should hear, is that no matter your past, you can still chart a different future. There's still hope, and with the support of the village, right, the community, to really pull together for someone besides themselves, right, or your neighbor, the empathy that that exists in all of us if we can, take the time to tap into that and really help others, because at the end of the day, we're all one community, right? We're all living here in the world.
One community.
Yeah.
We're all one community, because I have neighbors who are our families.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when those little boys are out there with a mother and a father, where's your coat at?
Yeah.
And I'm the single mother.
Mm-hmm.
You're the little boy with the mother and the father. But I'm the one that's making sure you have a jacket on and you have a mother and a father in your home. But I'm the one that's raising my kids as a single mom, and I'm protecting you. So that goes back to being a village. It doesn't matter what's in your home. It still takes a village.
And that's the power of influence. And like you said, and you just never know, but that one seed that you sow, that one word that you say to someone can really chart a course for an entirely different future. And particularly as we're talking about Women's History Month, and you have a daughter, and also, young girls, and the importance of representation, like, what do you want to leave with? Because you are living a legacy that will live beyond you, right? What you started, what you've sown, the people that you help, it will go into other people, whether we see it today or not. We never see the impact of all of our work, right? But as you are continuing to chart the course and to do this work, what do you want young girls to take away from your story and seeing you do this work?
Yes, good question. You know how you see Goodwill stores? You can go to any state and see a Goodwill store, right? I want the village to be like a Goodwill store, but when you go in the village, it'll be a Planned Parenthood inside of there. It'll be a pantry. It'll be where you can get job resources and get your resume, because when I was in high school in the 9th grade, we had Planned Parenthood. I don't know what high school in America right now still has Planned Parenthood that'll help you out with birth control or just anything with health. I just want like a full intake center that will help you get on your feet and get you to get motivated in the right footsteps in life. We don't really have those things. It's like, and then some people feel ashamed. Sometimes when we do pop-up shops, they say they feel like they're just, they pull up, get the tray. No, we're not doing that. We're going to talk to you. We're going to laugh with you. We're going to have a good time. I just want people to feel normal. And I feel like they're incarcerated, even if they're not in the four walls. That's not the vibe I'm trying to bring.
I feel you. So before we wrap up, because we're going to get into this wine tasting, and I can talk to you all day. So listen, we might have to call you and talk tonight. Some more, right? So what are the plans that you have for the village now, and how can we help? How can people help?
Well, we do go state to state each month. Like we just went to Daytona, Florida last month. We're going to Minnesota this month. My goal is Africa. My goal is to do the village in the village.
Okay.
That's my goal, to do the village in the village. And I would love just for us to get together and just do a fundraiser and contact churches, because I feel like, in America, yes, we do have struggles, where we live at. But what wouldn't it be to help those other people in other countries? You know what I'm saying? Like, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Let's just do it. Of course, I want to do different fridges everywhere, but I definitely I want to help with the babies. I want to help with the babies in different schools. There's so many schools that don't have books or even pencils. Even right here in Gastonia, where I live at. I'm always sending my kids to school with pencils. Like, what happens to your pencils? So I think, of course we got to start locally, but at the same time, I would love to tap in Africa for sure.
Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to see what you do in this world, what you will continue to do in this world and touch all over the globe. For those who want to know more about the Village Pop-Up Shop, make sure you visit the Village Pop-Up Shop.com on the website and follow them on social media. Make sure you donate, make sure you support, look at their events, become a sponsor, all those great things. And again, we thank you so much for your time and joining us this evening and sharing your story again and again, because the more you share, the more people will impact, the more influence it'll have, and the more change it'll make in the world.
And today's my birthday, guys. I turned 40 years old today. I'm the big
Happy birthday.